Well, it's not our goal. You know, our goal at the start of every season is to be in the NCAA tournament. It was disappointing to be as close as we were. I mean, obviously we were one of the first 6 or 7 teams out of the tournament, and you know, that tells me we're probably 1 or maybe 2 wins away. And you know, you'd certainly like to go back in time and replay a couple of those. But having said all that, you know, it's also good to be playing. There's a lot of teams that would love the opportunity to play this time of year, and especially with a young team, to have the opportunity to get back out there and play some more, practice a little bit more, I think could be allow us to maybe gain some good momentum going into next season.
How much do you have to work with there, just mentality of dealing with the disappointment of, like you said, not reaching the goal, but also taking advantage of this opportunity to get better in an event like this?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a quick turnaround. I wish we were playing Wednesday instead of Tuesday, so we had a couple days maybe to, number one, just for the prep itself,
yeah.
But number two, just to get our guys' mind right, because that's difficult. You know, we were going into 4 or 5 days ago knowing we had to win a game or two and try to get in the NCAA tournament, and dealing with the disappointment of not being able to accomplish that. It's not easy for someone my age, let alone young guys that are 18 to 22 years old. So hopefully we can turn the page, approach this as a new season and a new opportunity, and you know, we're playing a good team, so we have to get ready to go.
Yeah, talking about Loyola, here's a team that went to the Final Four. They got 3 of their top 6 scorers back. How good is Loyola?
You know, Porter does a terrific job. They're very disciplined on the defensive end. You know, they don't foul a lot, and they're disciplined on the offensive end. They don't turn the basketball over a lot. You know, they play a different pace. It's going to be a little slower paced game. We're going to have to try to maybe force our tempo onto them a little bit. But by doing that, we still have to take good shots, and that's a slippery slope that we walk. You know, Towns is a terrific player. He was a Valley Player of the Year this past year. Custer was a Valley Player of the Year last year. And you know, I think Krutwig is one of the more underrated big guys in the game. He just plays with an unbelievable pace and is able to get you in foul trouble. So, you know, we've got our hands full, there's no question.
You know Porter well?
Yeah, he was coaching Illinois State when I was at Northern Iowa, so we've known each other a long time.
Any experience playing him? You kind of know the way he plays, or what?
Yeah, I mean, he's a little bit different. I think his time with Coach Majerus at St. Louis, I think has maybe reshaped his coaching philosophy some compared to how he was when he was coaching at Illinois State when I knew him. But you know, always been a very hard-nosed, tough defensive coach. His guys are in the right spot. That his teams execute extremely well. We saw that last year in the NCAA tournament. You know, they won 3 or 4 close games in a row with well-executed plays at the end of the game, and then you know, your guys got to make the shot, and they were able to do that. So, you know, this team's not going to be intimidated by coming in here with what the stage that they stood on this time a year ago.
What about these new lines on the floor, and will that actually maybe benefit your style of play?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. We'll see. I've never played with it before. I've been one that's not been a proponent of changing the three-point line or the lane. So I hope I don't like it too much, because I've been singing that song for the last few years. I think our game is really good. You know, we fill a football stadium for our national championship every year, and I think if it's not broke, you don't try to mess it up and fix it. So. You know, it certainly changes a game. It'll stretch the floor a little bit more with the longer three-point line. Wiping the fouls off at the 10-minute mark will be interesting. We don't foul a lot. Loyola doesn't foul a lot, so I'm not sure that's going to have a huge impact on tomorrow night's game anyway. But it'll be different. But we'll see what happens.
Have you I think you have the experience of being a head coach, returning to your alma mater. Like there's some emotion involved there, right? Like. I know you're trying, as a coach, you're always trying to prepare your guys and focus on the game, but there's that sort of extra piece in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I took my Iowa State team back to Northern Iowa, so that wasn't a whole lot of fun. But, you know, Porter's played us before. We played them 4 or 5 years ago at their place. They beat us in a close game. I think Kyrie was a freshman that year. So I think he's done it before,
yeah.
But, you know, he's very well thought of in Creighton circles. He was a good player for us. That era was very good to us, and you know, that group of guys have really stayed connected to Creighton, so it'll be fun to have him back.
Coach, how much of a learning experience is it for your young team to sit on Selection Sunday and not hear your name called, and knowing that you were so close in so many games?
Well, that's why we did it together yesterday. I wanted them to experience that. you talk all season, the old coaching cliche of every possession matters, every game matters, and it was really the truth with us this year. We were probably 1 or 2 plays away from being in the NCAA tournament. So I think that's a good learning tool moving into next season, and to be able to see the joy in some of those locker rooms as they panned around the country for teams that when their name was announced, I think it's good fuel to add to the fire as we move into next season. But having said all that, we've got to try to turn the page. We have to try to get excited to play in this tournament and try to advance as far as we possibly can.
Any initial reaction to the way the committee interpreted the NET data, or what their selection said about how you may approach scheduling or anything going forward?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question there were some teams out there that didn't schedule strong enough. Now you could argue that maybe scheduling too strong is not to your advantage either.
Yeah.
But our schedule wasn't the problem. We played a really, really good schedule. We just needed to win a few more. And to win, to have opportunities to have quad 1 and quad 2 wins, you have to play games. Now, when you play, we played about 75% of our schedule against quad 1 and quad 2. So that's also challenging as well. So I think the secret sauce is probably somewhere in between. I think you have to challenge yourself the best you can in your non-conference schedule. And then I think if you're playing a team that's not great, I think you need to beat them as bad as you can. I mean, I just think as long as offensive and defensive efficiency is factored into the metrics, that can be a huge positive in your favor. And that's why you saw some teams that didn't play as good a non-conference schedule have their net numbers be pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be better if we played in NCAA, but we're excited to play, excited to have more games here. It's going to be great couple games for us, and great opportunity to get better.
What about Loyola, Final Four team a year ago? You excited about playing them?
Oh yeah, that would be great for us. They lost almost everyone on that team, but still they have that winning mentality from last year, and yeah, it's going to be a good game.
Martin, what about these new rules about the thing? How will it affect your game and the game as a whole?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, FIBA rules. It's just going to space the floor a lot more. We got shooters. The defense is going to have to come out, and it's going to be more space for everybody to operate, and I think it's going to be a good addition.
So if it's an advantage, it's advantage Creighton at this point, right? I mean, this plays right into your hands, right?
Yes, for sure.
Martin, how much have you guys talked as a team to sort of put aside that, kind of like what you said, it is a disappointment not to make the NCAA, but you have to refocus and get ready for this? How much have you guys talked about that sort of thing?
I mean, we were kind of beat up after that game, but we're here to play basketball. It doesn't really, affect us that do we want to come on practice or not. But we're going to come out and play, and that's what we do.
Okay. Tyshawn, the fact that you aren't in the NCAA, but now you got another opportunity with the NIT, what's that mean for you?
It just means a lot. Obviously, we're a young team, and we learned a lot of things of what we could have done this year to hopefully get a chance to make it to the NCAA. But, I mean, the NIT is not that bad. We're going to play the exact same way we used to play and just come out here and get some wins.
They've got 3 of their top 6 scorers back from last year's team that went to the Final Four. What are your thoughts about just Loyola?
I mean, obviously they're a great team. They were number 1 in the conference, I think, in their conference. So, we just got to play the way we play, defend the way we are supposed to, and come out and just play hard.
Tyshawn, how often have you replayed those last few seconds in your mind from the other day, or have you already just put it behind you and moved forward from that?
I kind of just moved forward. From the game that we played, I thought about it for a while, especially just going back to my room and going back to the hotel actually, and kind of just watching some of the replays and things that we could have done better at. But I mean, it's the past. We just got to get over it and just come back and get prepared for next year.
Yeah, how tough will it be to refocus and play some meaningful basketball? Because usually in the NIT, the teams that are able to put the past in the past do better than the others.
Yeah, I could say it's kind of hard because all of us was in there watching the selection show, and we just had a lot of goosebumps and a lot of thoughts going in our head saying if we were going to make it or not. And we were going to play and just to see how things were going to be. But we came out to practice. It was looked okay. You know, we needed to get some stuff back to where we used to play, but we just got to come out here and do what's best for us and just be prepared.
The NIT, I mean, what can this team do in this tournament to maybe springboard for next year? Because there's so many young players on this team. What can this tournament do for this team?
It can really bring out some of the players that we have to come out and play hard and play like they need to, instead of playing so scared and so frustrated at sometimes. But just come out here and loose, just play how you're supposed to play. Just play normal and just go out there and just have fun.
What about these new rules? Got to benefit you guys to kind of widen the floor a little bit. Is that going to benefit the Jays there?
Nah, I think we shoot the ball a lot further than this, especially watching Mitch, the way he shoots. So I don't think that'll benefit us that much. I think we'll be all right.